Hi guys, thanks for coming back to my channel and checking out my video. I just wanted to say that I'm making this channel to spread some humor and some silliness and react to things or even create some new content. I have some thoughts about what I might choose to do. But I also want to keep this channel more positive, helping people, making us think. I don't really want to shit all over people. I would rather try to, comment on somebody, maybe make fun of it, but also then try to give some solutions or options to their problems. So you'll find, if people comment on my videos, I generally want to help them with whatever issue they're having or grow, ask some questions, encourage them to do better. And so if that's something you're interested in, if you like that kind of mentality, please subscribe to my channel. That's where I'm taking this. So humor, positivity, trying to help people self-improve, trying to help myself improve, and we'll all get better together. Today we're going to be reviewing a video by Courtney Ryan, my girl Courtney Ryan, on modern dating and how it's delusional.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that nobody thinks they're average, or most people do not think that they are average. Is this confidence or is this delusion? And what inspired this video was me posting a TikTok from one of my girl interviews. To say the comments were concerning and eye-opening is actually an understatement. So we're going to be going through some of the comments. I'm going to share some with you, and then we're going to talk about this idea of average and delusion and all of this stuff that's going on in the media and really just with our society today. So now let me read some of the comments to you. Average has nothing to do with me. Some of us don't want to be average. LOL, okay, but these are based on averages and I'm not looking for an average man. I don't give an F. I want my man to be pulling 500K. My soul left my body when I read that one. It's funny, all the people in here with their personal stories of making six figures, like that changes the average percent. Happy hunting. I actually really liked this comment, and I think it accurately represents what was going on in the comments. Everyone was, saying that they know someone who makes 600K or 200K, so they assume that's the average. Anyway, we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
But you know what it is? People, just on the average thing, everybody takes, if you call someone average, they take that as an insult. Nobody wants to be the average. And if you actually look at a person in their entirety, people aren't like, you're generally average in some things, you're above average in some things. Maybe you're at the top of the game in certain one area or something, and then you're below average or like really bad at other parts. So we're all just like a mismatch of a whole bunch of things. So I guess it really kind of depends how you look at it, if you're going to describe yourself as average or not.
No one can survive with less than 70K. Let's be very for real.
Yeah. I was making like 40K, 50K, and I had like a Honda Civic. I bought a house, like a townhouse, so it was like attached. What was it? 300,000 or 285 maybe or something. So I was living in that. I don't know. Like it was a good life. I don't remember feeling like I didn't have money. I was doing pretty good. I was like going out 3 nights a week, playing squash and doing whatever. Like I was doing stuff. I never felt like I didn't have money. But it's weird. Now that I have more money, I feel like I don't have money. Is that weird? Am I the only one who feels this way? Does it not feel like the more money you get, the less money you have, like to a point, I guess? I don't know.
Are we okay? If you can't survive on 70K, you have a spending problem. I understand that things are expensive. I understand that prices have increased, rent's gone up, groceries have gone up, but $70,000 would change a lot of people's lives. I made $35,000 at my corporate job, below the average. And I was living just fine because I was saving my money. I wasn't buying all these designer things, spending all my money on clothes, driving a car I couldn't afford, paying for an apartment that I couldn't afford. Be for real. If you can't survive on 70K, you have a spending problem.
You know what's interesting too is there was I think it was a TikTok video of this lady. She was saying like I think she lives in New York. I think so, but in some anyway she's in some city and she makes 100,000 and she's like I can't afford anything like right now. It was recent. I can't afford anything on $100,000. Her and her husband. Maybe it was both their incomes combined. They make 100,000. I don't remember, but it was like they couldn't afford to live. She was just complaining about like how it's no money, it's no money, it's no money. And I was like, really? $100,000? Like that's crazy, right? Like what would that be a month? Let's just quickly try to calculate that. So maybe like a bit over 8K a month, right? Then take out your taxes. So I don't know, maybe you end up at like 5, 6K a month and you can't live on that? That seems kind of crazy. You can't live on 5K a month? Like really, it should be, let's say you have a mortgage, 2K. That could be high, that could be low, depends where you live. But that was pretty much my mortgages in general around like the 2K, anywhere 1,500 to 2K. Then you have a car payment. The car payment's anywhere from maybe like 300 to 500. So that's half your money gone. Then you got some bills. You're gonna have utilities, so you allot 500 for that. You still got 2,000 left. Then you got groceries. So if it's two people, depends. You can do probably like I always allocate for two people like $200 a week. It could be more or less. It can fluctuate a bit. That's about right. So $800 a month, let's say. So you're still left with over $1,000, 1,200. Then I don't know. You could do entertainment, something. You eat out, whatever. Another 500 bucks. You still got $700. I'm not saying it's like tons of money, but it's still 700 bucks. So I guess it's all the student loans or credit card debt that people have.
Ay, ay, ay. When I say, are we okay? I'm like genuinely asking this question because I don't think that we are. So what is the average? The average is an amount, standard, level, or rate regarded as casual or ordinary. I found this funny thing that I wanted to read to you guys because it's on the topic of what we're discussing today. It says, on a scale of 1 to 10, you probably think you're a 7, and you wouldn't be alone. While it's impossible for most people to be above average for a specific quality, people think that they are better than most people in many areas, from charitable behavior to work performance.
You know, it's funny. That's why if you ever watch any of Kevin Samuel's videos, he doesn't let people pick 7 for that exact reason, because everybody tries to pick 7 because they don't want to be average. They want to be above average. So he says, like, you can't pick 7. So then most people seem to go to a 6.
To attractive level, to salary. I mean, you name it. The phenomenon known as illusory superiority is so stubbornly persistent that psychologists would be surprised if it didn't show up in their studies, says David Dunning, a psychologist at Cornell who has studied the effect for decades. It happens for many reasons. Others are too polite to say what they really think, and competent people lack the skills to assess their abilities accurately, and such self-delusions can actually protect people's mental health. Dunning told Live Science.
I want to think about this for myself. I do think I'm better than people in certain areas, like in my day job. I'm like, when people mess up and make mistakes, I definitely have the feeling I'm like, oh my God, like I would have totally did that better. Oh, geez, like this person sucks. Like I don't say that, but I'm like thinking it, and I'm like, oh, you know. And I also base it off of the fact that I can get my work done faster than these other people. So I'm like, well, I feel like that puts me like above. I don't know. And the quality is good, I guess. But this is a great point that she calls out here, is other people are too polite to say what they really think. It's like, yeah, it's so true. It's like somebody asks you a question, like, what do you think of this? And you're like, well, I don't want to like tell them like, oh, it sucks. You're like, well, it's all right. You know, you try to give them some like, it's pretty good, but you're like, you didn't really like it. It's very rare that you have people around you who are like, this is shit. And I have a friend who literally has said that he will straight up tell me all the time just like what he thinks. He does not give a shit. So he'll be like, yeah, your cake sucked. He's like, oh, that YouTube video I made. He's like, dude, it was so bad. It's like, it's like, come on, it wasn't that bad. He's like, yeah, it was complete garbage. I'm like, thanks, bro. It's like, he doesn't sugarcoat anything, and I think we all need those type of people in our lives because, I mean, they kind of like level set you and bring you down. They do kind of suck though when you're trying to like get ahead and do better, and then they're like shitting all over you. Like, dude, I know it's not that great, but I'm learning. Calm the frick down. Next point, incompetent people lack the skills to assess their abilities accurately. Yeah, because you don't know what you don't know, so you're like, oh, I'm the best. It's like playing basketball and shooting three-pointers all day by yourself, and then thinking you're amazing, and then actually getting into a real basketball game. And somebody's like checking you and blocking your shots and stuff. Protects your mental health. You know what? I had an experience today because I'm gonna do a video probably tomorrow about the OnlyFans stuff and like how these women are making like hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in a year. They're making like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 250K a month. Like, it's ridiculous. And I was watching all these TikToks and stuff of them talking about this. They're like, oh, we're making all this money and stuff. And I was literally like getting depressed, like watching it. I'm like, what the F? Like, here I am, you know, working my job where like putting in like 8 hours, 12 hours, sometimes 14 hours. I was working all this overtime, and I was like trying to make more money, you know, and I'm in the six figures when I'm doing that, right? Like, I'm putting in all this extra time, and I was like proud of myself. I was like, yeah. And then you go and hear all these OnlyFans girls making like 200K or 30K, you know, in a month, and they're literally working like 1-2 days a week, like real, like taking photos and videos and things, and then editing and posting them, and then they're you know, maybe answering messages and like marketing and stuff, but it's like they're not nearly working as hard, and you're just like, what the F? And it was just depressing. It was just depressing. Why was I working so hard?
And I really think a lot of this is a societal issue and this narrative that social media is kind of continuously pushing on us. We've been conditioned to believe that being average is being a failure, that it's a bad thing. We are consistently told to stand out, to strive for more, to be great. Rarely, or actually never, do we hear, be okay with being average. And I think striving for more is great. I think trying to make the most out of your life and yourself and your purpose is a wonderful thing. I have many thoughts about this topic.
Sorry, Courtney. Can I just say one thing here, though? When, like, I think we should all strive to be the best at something, but it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be all about money. It could be the best flute player, the best dancer, the best Fortnite player, whatever that is, you know, like some area, like, just strive to be the best at something. If you're just average at literally everything, you are 100% average. I don't think that's good, and I don't think it even makes sense. I don't even think that's possible, frankly. Like, try to be the best at, it could be like cooking, right? Like, I think that's important, but it's I think the point here is we don't want to be average when it comes, or the point these ladies are making, or whoever's making, is we don't want to be average when it comes to like money. We want to say we can do we want 500, we deserve that because we're so amazing. we need 500,000, we need 250, we need six-figure man, or I need to be able to make six figures or seven figures or whatever. That I think is the issue. It's all revolving around money. Like, people are obsessed with money.
But is being average really as bad as people are making it seem? Doesn't it just mean that you're normal? What's wrong with normal? The truth is that most of us are average. That's why it's the average. It's also very possible to be average in most areas of your life and excel in other ones. And I'll give you a personal example here. I would consider myself to be an average cook. I cook every day, I follow recipes, I put in effort for sure, but I'm certainly not a chef. Or above average in any way. But does this mean that I'm a bad cook? No, it doesn't. I'm actually pretty average at most things that I do, and then there's a select few things that I excel in. I'm content with this and realistic when it comes to my strengths and my weaknesses, which is something that I think a lot of people have a hard time doing. So the question is, does being delusional make us more confident or more capable? There's a trend going around telling people to be delusional, and people are taking it very seriously, and they're being delusional.
Okay, let's just break this apart a little bit. There's a whole thing about affirming yourself, like that whole notion of when you wake up in the morning, you have like post-it notes or something on your mirror, and you kind of repeat, you know, I'm worthy, or I'm good, or I'm powerful, and I'm gonna succeed today, and that kind of thing, to like build yourself up. There's a whole thing about that because you want to have confidence. But generally, because you're building up confidence, it makes you feel like you're better than other people, thus why you're not average. So maybe a double-edged sword. Maybe we need to have some of that delusion, but also have some of that rationality in place in our brains where we think, well, okay, I know I'm literally not better than everybody, but I'm better for myself. Like, by my standard for myself, I'm doing better, and I don't care how I compare to other people. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense.
While I do think that your mindset is really important, you know, I've talked about the scarcity versus abundance mindset before, and I think that, you know, your thoughts do have an impact on the way that you live your life and the things that you achieve, and optimism can certainly help. It doesn't solve everything. There is no magic pill or magic spell that will send a fraction of a percent man who is over 6 feet making $1 million a year knocking on your front door. Wish there was. For all of your sakes, so that we could all be living happily ever after, but that's not the case. So
I was hoping he would come knock at my door. I'd be gay for that. Totally. $1 million man? I'd be gay for that.
yes, I think being confident in yourself and your ability is helpful for life, obviously. But being straight up delusional, ignoring statistics, and constantly thinking that you are the exception to the rule is a completely different story.
Because there are exceptions, Courtney, and somebody has to be the exception. Why can't it be me? Jeez. Thought you would know that. Oh my God.
That unrealistic expectations, delusion, or illusory superiority are what keep a lot of people unhappy and disappointed in the long term, time and time again. Believe it or not, there is such a thing as toxic positivity, and it can actually be incredibly harmful. It can cause people to neglect exploring their weaknesses or areas of their life that they would like to improve on, or challenges. Being honest with yourself, taking accountability, and telling the truth is how we grow and evolve as humans.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because it's like toxic positivity, but then we have like toxic masculinity, and then people start saying toxic femininity now. I'm like, everything is just like, when it's too much of something, we're like, toxic. Thanks, Brittany. You started this shit.
And how we face our weaknesses, our challenges, and actually improve the areas of our life that we want to improve. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be a realist than someone who's in denial. Toxic positivity and this whole be delusional thing is slowly but surely eliminating critical thinking and realism from our society, which in my opinion is rather concerning. And I'm not telling you to be a negative Nelly either. It doesn't have to go that far extreme in the other direction. Thinking everything will turn out bad is equally delusional as toxic positivity. I'm just suggesting to be realistic. Be realistic about what it is you're looking for and asking for in a partner, and at least know what you're asking for. Again, these girl interviews that I've done have really made me think about this topic and where it impacts other people's life besides just dating, but dating is a big one. If you're saying things like, I don't give an F, I want my man to be pulling 500K, or LOL, okay, but these are based on averages and I'm not looking for an average man.
Yeah, because average is 50%. And I mean, you're on the upper side of the average. It's just like, I don't even know. Most people are not average. They're either below average or above average, right? If average is 50%, does that make sense? Because I know the point of this video was most people are average, but now I'm like, if you think of it in terms of a percentage, most people are not average, right? Did I just blow up my own argument earlier?
At least know what you're up against. At least know what it is you're asking for. If you're a girl who will only date a millionaire, understand the fraction of the percent that is. The point is not to make people look stupid or feel stupid. The point is just to educate and have people genuinely understand their expectations and the fact that they are probably being unrealistic, as most people are. And it adds a level of complexity when you're adding another person in, when it's not just based on you and your life, but it's also you expecting someone else to meet these requirements, these crazy requirements that you have, and not understanding how rare it is what you're asking for. And it was just insane to see everyone fighting with each other and all of the negative reaction. Instead of using it as a learning moment, people were just fighting with each other in the comments or putting each other down. And I just think if you're someone watching that makes above the median, or, you know, maybe your husband or wife makes more than the median, you should feel lucky when you hear the statistics instead of like fighting with each other and just being vile. And another important thing that I want to mention that I really realized after reading through those comments and seeing the reaction was that just because something is your experience doesn't mean that it's the average. It doesn't mean that it's the median. Just because you know a man who makes $500,000 does not mean most men make $500,000.
Yeah, I know an NFL player makes like millions of dollars, so that's the average. Yeah. Some of that stuff is just so cringe. It's like, do people even know what they're saying when they say it? Like, I mean, I say a lot of shit, so I'm sure at certain points I'm saying something where people are like, what? So, okay, we all do it. Let's just be honest. We all do it at times where we say things that just like, if you listen back to yourself, you're like, what the hell? Did I really say that? Like, what do I mean by this? And that's one of those things. What she's asking for, well, I know there was the video that that she did that I reviewed, where she's interviewing all the women, and it was like the one woman was saying, I need $1 million man. Guy makes $1 million a year. And when asked, where did you get this number from? Like, why do you think that you're going to get $1 million man? And she's like, well, because I know a few. I know a few. And I went on dates with a couple. That's why. Like, it's like me seeing a Lamborghini on the street and talking to the guy who owns it or something. I'm saying guy, could be woman. Ooh. Talking to the person who owns it, and then like maybe I see another one like a year later, and same thing, right? And then I rent one for a day, and it costs me, I don't know, $2,000 or whatever it is to rent a Lamborghini. And then being like, yeah, I can totally get one. Totally get a Lamborghini. I talked to 2 people who had it, and then I had one, like, and took it for a spin for like a weekend. So, yeah, I can totally get a Lamborghini. No. I'd be lucky if I got a BMW. Like, settle the shit down.
Your personal experiences don't change the averages. They don't change the medians. They don't change the reality. I think that's something that a lot of people really just cannot grasp. It's baffling to me. And I think it goes to show the fact that you can learn a lot about our society and people by what we don't know. And most people don't know the reality. Average has nothing to do with me. Some of us don't want to be average.
Like the one that was interesting, if you guys watch my the OnlyFans girls that wanted like basically 1% man, and in that video, uh, one of the people in the show was like, "Do you know that the average household in the United States makes like 70,000 a year?" I looked it up. It's yeah, basically it's like 71,000 a year. So that's household. That's like two people, right? Like the mother and father, and then probably kids. Kids obviously not working, so it's mother and father kind of thing. 70K a year. Clearly, the average is not people making six figures, or we would expect to see like 200,000 in the household income. So it's just wow. Like people have no idea, and then they ask for it, and then they don't even realize that they're cutting out so many people, and that's why you see it blowing up all over YouTube. All these podcasts or videos of like where well, it's generally women. They get asked, you know, how much do you want from a man? Oh, this is what I want. I want him to be 6 feet tall. I want him to make 150. I want him to be like fit. He obviously can't be married. Blah, whatever. How good looking does he need to be? They put it into like basically like a calculator, and it tells them you have a 2% chance of finding this person. So it's like one in every 50 men that you meet could potentially be that. But then that doesn't even include personality and all the other things that come with dating somebody. He could be like a total dick. And then maybe at the time you meet them, he's already dating somebody. He's not interested, or he wants to be single. He's too focused on whatever his work is or whatever he's doing. It's ridiculous.
I'm not looking for an average man. Okay, that's fine. That's your thing. You do whatever you want. I'm not telling you who to go for, who to like, what your standards or preferences should be. All I'm saying is if you're going to be unrealistic, you should at least know how rare it is what you're asking for. And when it comes to dating, it's extra tough because you're relying on another person, again, to kind of meet the criteria that you want, but also you can think you are the bee's knees 10 out of 10. That doesn't mean that every man will think that. You know, say I'm selling a house. I think this house is amazing. I think that it's worth $1 million, but the market is telling me differently. The buyers are telling me differently, and no one's buying the house because it's not worth $1 million.
This was literally my parents. They were selling their house. They want to sell it for like 2.1 million. It was like on a lake because they saw this other properties on the lake sell for like over $1 million. So they were like, "Oh, surely our house could sell for 2.1 million." Of course it didn't. It sold for like 8 something. So it was like 400, almost like 400K less. But it was like a whole thing. They went like months with it on the market because they're like, "No, I don't believe it. It's gonna sell for 2.1. No, okay, 1, okay, 1.1. Okay, 1 million. 1 million." And then it was just like the blood's like draining out of their face as it goes lower.
Like, you can think that the house is worth $1 million, but clearly it's not. If the house is on the market for a year and no one's buying it, no one's offering you that much, and the Zestimate is telling you that it's worth $700,000, it's not worth $1 million. So you can sit in your delusion and your unsold house and think that it's worth $1 million, or you can say, okay, what can I do to make it worth $1 million? Or maybe I have to lower my expectations a little bit, and that's not going to kill me. I'm not trying to like belittle people and compare them to houses, but I think this is something that we commonly do. We have these extreme checklists for the person that we want to be with that look like we're going to the supermarket, looks like we're going on a trip to Whole Foods, and yet we possess none of those qualities that we're requesting or expecting from a partner.
You know what? That's a great point. I definitely didn't do that in my early years, in my 20s and even my early 30s. And it was wild. Like, and I expected so much, but then I didn't even possess the qualities myself. But now in my life now where I am, I do the things that I'm looking in for somebody else are things that I do and I will provide, etc. So I don't feel like a fake. Like before, I don't know. It just, she's making a good point. It doesn't feel right. You got to be honest with yourself. Like, you have to be honest with yourself.
You really have to be what you want to attract. And I know I say that in every single video that I make about this topic, but it's because it's so important. So do I think this be delusional thing is a good idea, or really honestly something that I would recommend a mindset you develop? No, I don't. Because, you know, saying out loud that you're going to be a millionaire but not taking any of the steps required is not going to get you there. There's no magic pill, there's no magic spell, there's no magic manifestation or mantra that you're going to say that's going to magically make things happen for you. You have to put in effort, you have to take action, you got to be realistic. And I think a lot of us struggle with that. And that's because we're being...
What does that word even mean anymore? Realistic. What is real? We all live in the Matrix. Isn't that what we've been hearing from everybody now? It's like the simulation theory or whatever. This could be base reality. Elon Musk and all those people, wacky people like this. We're living in a simulation. And then you got Andrew Tate out there. The Matrix is attacking me. Everyone, it's the Matrix. I feel like everyone thinks we're in the Matrix. I don't know what's real anymore. It's all just ones and zeros, guys. Like, you're gonna like put your hand through your computer monitor or your phone screen.
Pushed with this toxic positivity, be delusional, you know, you deserve a millionaire, you're a bad bee, you're perfect, you're a 10 out of 10. Be real.
Okay, I'm not gonna say I'm 10 out of 10, but I am a 9 out of 10. Okay? Just, I give some room for improvement, but I think we all know by watching my videos, and you all agree with me, I know no one disagrees who watches this video, that I'm at least a 9 out of 10. And, you know what? You guys, you don't even have to comment on it, guys, because I know that you all think that. So you don't even need to say nothing. I know. I feel all the love. No negative comments ever, always positive. Thank you for your 9 out of 10.
And I really don't want to sound like a negative Nelly. I'm not trying to tell you guys to be negative or to think poorly of yourselves. That's not what I'm saying at all. So I hope it's not coming across that way. I'm just saying maybe be a little bit realistic.
No, you just want to kill our dreams, Courtney. You want to kill our dreams. Yeah. Shame on you. Shame.
I'd rather be realistic than delusional or in denial. Anyway, I think I've ranted on long enough.
And everybody should go to her channel and subscribe and give her a like and watch the videos because she does a very good job. I don't like all of her stuff, like, because there's some things that I'm like, eh. But she does like a lot of very interesting videos, so I think she's a great addition to YouTube. I don't even know how I stumbled across her. But I think she's grown a lot in the last while too. I feel like when I saw her, she was like 100,000, and now she's like 510,000 subs. So, okay. Please like and subscribe. Hopefully this was valuable. Hopefully you enjoyed my commentary and you learned something. Or maybe I was an annoyance and you just wanted to listen to her talk. But you stuck with me anyways. Thank you. We'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.